state.
Okay, so now we will move further a little bit in the React world.
Hmm.
And now what I will show you, I created a new project and let's delete all this unnecessary stuff for now. And in the app.js, I'll delete these two files. And in the index.js, I'll delete index.css. And I will create app. I'll delete all this content and just put text hello world. And I'll go to the project 7 and I'll say npm start. Okay, so now today I'm going to explain you how to pass variables from app to different components. So we will create some variable and we will put it in the app and then we will pass this variable to different components. I can create each component in the different file in the real world. Whenever I do real project, I will put each component in different file. But right now, since I'm teaching you, I can create component here only in this file. So I can say class main extends component, and here I will say render with the return, and return is the HTML, and I can div close, and here I will say main page. Similarly, I'll create one more component here, and here it will be user component, and here I will say user page. So I created one is the app component and I created two other components here in this page. I can see hello world from the app component, which I put it here hello world. Now let's call this main component. Instead of hello world, I will call the main component which I created above, and I will also call the user component which I created above. So it will showing main page and user page from this main page and from this user page. I can also add h1 tag in the app one, and I can say app page, and I will close the h1 tag, and here it will be app. This is coming from app component, this is coming from main component, this is coming from the user component. Now I will create one variable here in the app component, and then I will see that variable in the main component and in the user component. So let's create the variable. So in the React world, I can create the variable in the form of state and a props. As I explained you on that day, I have to create the state or props. State is the variable, something which I can change, I can update, but the props is variable which is only for the display purpose, and we cannot change the props. So first thing is, and state will be present in the main component, that is the app component.
Always,
not always. You have to decide that yourself where you will put your state. Let's say you have 5 pages, so you will put state in one page, first page, and all 4 pages will take the value as a props.
Right.
But tomorrow your application is bigger. You have 100 pages. You don't want state to be present in the one page. You can put it in 10 pages, and all 90 pages will be without state. So it depends on you how many pages you want to put your state.
Right.
So all depends on your thinking, where you want to change the state, and where you want to change the state, you have to put the state there. Otherwise, all other pages, display pages will not have the state variable. In the display pages, it will be all props.
Okay.
So I will creating the state here. So to create the state, I need to call one function of the React. This is called the constructor function. And constructor function will take one variable, one parameter that is called props.
Hmm.
So this is the hard-coded thing. You have to call this as I'm showing you. So this
Right.
is a constructor function
Hmm.
which is called automatically when the app is loaded. So
Okay.
whenever the app is loaded, render function will be automatically called.
Hmm.
Constructor function will be also automatically called. You don't have to write a specific code to call this function. So this
Got
is
it.
automatically called, and it takes one props as a parameter, and you can pass some default variable inside it that I will tell you later. Don't worry about this props right now. And
Okay.
first line of this constructor will be super props. That means I'm calling some function from the component and I'm passing the props into the component one. So these
Mm-hmm.
three lines of the code will always be there. Whenever you are creating a constructor, you always be having these three lines of the code. It's a must lines of the code. So you don't have to think, oh, why should I put? We have to call this super function to make it work properly.
Okay.
So these three lines, and now here you will put your own code of creating the state. So how to create the state? I will put here. So here first you have to create the state. How to create the state? So to create the state, you have to say this dot state is equal to object. Object is a curly bracket, and in this curly bracket, you can put as many variables as you want. So for example, I will put few variables. For example, I will say username, and I will put default value of many.
Hmm.
Then I will create another variable called as age. I will put 43 for example. Then I
Hmm.
will create another variable called as gender. I will put the value as male. So I
Hmm.
created three variables. You can create n number of variables inside this state.
Okay.
So depending upon your application, you can create 2 variables, 10 variables, 20 variables, 100 variables in this state, depending upon your application.
Hmm.
Now, when the page is loaded, whenever the app is loaded, constructor is automatically called, and when constructor is called, this state will be created.
Hmm.
And once the state will be created, or once the constructor function ended, the render function is called.
Hmm.
And in the render function, we can see what is the value of the state. So I can console.log state values are, I will say this dot state. Here I can see what is the values of the states are. So if I go to the page, I will go to the console.log, that is developer tools. Here you will see state values are age, gender, and username. So first constructor was, it create the state,
Hmm.
and then render function is called, it is displaying the state, and then it is displaying the HTML part in the render function. So this is the procedure. It goes from top to bottom. Now I want to pass this state variable to the main component and to the user component so that I can display the value of username from the main component and from the user component. So let's pass this variable to these components. Whenever I will pass this variable into this main component and user component,
Hmm.
main component will get the variable in the form of this dot props. So
Okay.
here the variable will come as this dot props. If I'm passing username, so it will get this dot props dot username. If I'm passing age,
Hmm.
it will go here in the main dot component as this dot props dot age. So whatever
Hmm.
variable I am passing from here, it will
Hmm.
go inside as a prop.
Okay.
And remember, we cannot change the prop. We can only change the state. So anything if we want to change the username, I can only do it here in the app component. I cannot do state change in the main component nor in the user component, because main component and user component are getting the props and we cannot change the props. We can only change the state, and state can be changed in the app component.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah.
So remember in JavaScript when we declare variables, we write var a equals to 10 or what var name equals to many, whatever. Is this the equivalent way to do in React? Is that what we are doing? Like we are just declaring variables here in under this dot state?
And the difference between that var which we created is
Hmm.
something we create the variable. This is not the normal variable. This
Hmm.
variable is something which is persisted all over the component. So this is
Okay.
not the real variable which we are talking about JavaScript. If I want to create that variable, I can also create that variable here. I can say
Hmm.
var username is equal to this dot state dot username. I can assign this and then I can display this username here anywhere I want.
Okay.
So uh, I can display here as a curly bracket. So
Hmm.
if I see many is displayed here because this
Right.
username is created. This is the variable which we generally create in the JavaScript,
Right.
but the state and props are something different. They are variables, but they are holding the variables in the component. So they are
Got it.
not the normal variable which we use.
Okay. Okay.
Let's delete this part right now. Now what I will do, I will pass this username to the main component. So how I will pass it in the main component, I will say one key. I will put some key username equal to, and I will put the value. What is the value I want to pass? I want to pass this value.
Hmm.
So I will say this
Just.
dot state dot username.
Hmm.
So that means this username is transferred to the main component with the key of username. So if I want to access this username in the main component, I will use this dot props dot username.
Oh, so you have to give that statement under app, is it?
Yes, I have to give this statement like this.
So that main component can use it.
Right. So main component can use the username. So here if
Okay.
I say console.log of username is
This
this
dot
dot props dot username.
props
Here it
dot
will go as a props.
props. Yeah.
Let's check it. So it's going username is many.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, if I don't want to keep the name same, let's say if I'm changing this to name only, though it is username in the state, but I can pass it with a different name to the props. So here
Hmm.
only I have to change it to this dot props dot name. So though I am passing many because this state dot username is many, but in the main component I am not using it as a username. I am using it as a name.
You can do that, but you can only do this from app only, right?
Yeah, in the app
Okay.
I need to change whatever name I want to pass.
Okay.
So for example, age is the state variable.
Hmm.
When I'm passing it, I'm not passing age, I'm passing my age
Hmm.
equal to this dot state dot age.
Hmm.
If I want to access that, here in the main component, I can use age is this dot props dot my age because I'm passing variable as my age. Here I'm passing variable as my age, though it has a value of state age. But when
Hmm.
it goes to the main component, it's going as a my age. So
Okay.
now its age is going 43. But for now, let's keep it same as username and let's
Hmm.
keep it the same as age.
Hmm.
And this also I will put at age and I will use this as a username.
Hmm.
So then now if I refresh it, username is many, age is 43.
Hmm.
So whenever we want to pass something to another component, we can put as many variables. Let's say there are 100 variables here. I can pass all 100 variables to this component, or I can pass 50 variables to this component. Let's say few variables I pass to this component, few variables I can pass to this component depending on my requirement.
Hmm.
Let's say if there are 50 components and I want to pass all the 50 components, it will be very difficult to pass all through this one. So there is one easy way to pass all the variables if you want to pass all the variables at one time. So to pass all variables at one time, I can say curly bracket dot 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 three dot, then I will say this dot state in curly bracket close. When I say this statement, that means all variables of this dot state will be passed to the user.
Okay.
So if I put the console.log here in the user of props in user page is dot props. Let's see what is coming in the props. So I assume all the state variables, that is all three variables, should be passed to this user page.
Hmm.
So props in the user page is I'm getting all the variables.
Hmm. Okay.
So this is to reduce the work. I cannot pass all 50 variables at one
Right.
time. So I'm passing this way, and this way I can pass all the variables in one time.
Right.
We are doing the ES6 version of React. Remember, this is the ES6 version of React. Whenever you
Okay.
go for interview or something,
Hmm.
they will say, have you done React with ES6? So you have to say, yes, this is the ES6 version of the React.
Okay.
So now I have passed the variables to the different component. Now, next job is to update the variables. To update the variables. So right now I have many. I
Hmm.
want to change it to some different variable name.
Hmm.
Let's say instead of many, I want John.
Hmm.
Instead of 23, I want 23.
Hmm.
So let's pass first here gender also, and so that we can see.
Hmm.
Let's display these variables inside this component. So here I will say h3 main page. Immediately I will do user page, and I will display it. So here I will say maybe I will take p tag. Username is curly bracket dot props dot username,
Hmm.
and I'll close the p tag. Same thing, I'll do age, gender,
Mhm.
and then I'll do gender, and same thing I'll do here. I'll delete this. I don't need to console.log, and then let's see if it is appearing. So main page is showing all the variables. User page is showing all the variables.
Right.
Now I will write some input box, and I will change the username and change the age, change the gender, and I will see once I change it, I have to change it in the app component, and then whenever there is a change in the state variable, the render function is called again. So that means whenever I change the
Right.
state with some different one, render function will be called, and the
Hmm.
main page will get the updated value of the username and the updated value of the age and updated value of the gender.
Yeah.
So we can see the new value whenever I change the state variable.
Okay.
So now we will create some input box to change the input type equal to text and value. What will be the value? Value will be this dot state dot username. So let's do only username first,
Okay.
and, and here I will say username is, and I'll put some br tag, couple of br tag. Okay, so this is the username, and I am getting this value because default is coming from here. We will
Right.
find it here, and I
Right.
will see this one. Now
Mhm.
I have to change this. I have to change the username as state. So I will
Mhm.
say on change. On change equal to, I will start with the curly bracket and end with the curly bracket. Now here I want to put the function. So on change, I want to call some function here. So I will write one function. For
Mhm.
example, I say change username. I'll create a one function,
Hmm.
and in this function, I will pass the parameter e. E is the event, and whenever I change the value of the input box,
Hmm.
the the value which will come inside the e will be like in this format, e dot target dot
Hmm.
value. So if I change something in this text box, if I
Hmm.
want to access what I changed, I can use this e dot target dot value to access that value.
What is target here?
Target is this input box,
Input box. Okay. Where you are outputting the name. Hmm.
right? So if I'm calling this on change with this function, then the E is the event. Event will take the target, and target is what? This target, that is this input box, and the value will be the value of the input box.
Okay.
So now I want to call this function here in the on change. So how will I call this function? So to call this function, I have to use this dot change username, that is the name of this function, and I have to bind it. There is a special keyword. I have to use bind word keyword, and inside bind keyword I have to pass this. This means this input box, and this if will go as a event E in the function. So I will pass this here. This will be the input box, and this will go as a E, and it will say E dot target. Target means this input box dot value. So this is the way
Bind you have to give every time when you are using on change.
to call the function.
Okay.
So we have to bind, and this bind will come in the whenever we want to call this function on change and all click on click or anything, we have to call
Okay.
this bind.
Okay.
Now when I say on change, I'm calling this function, and this will be getting this value whatever I am typing here in input box. Now I want to take this value, and I want to update the username of the state. So
Okay.
how can you do? In olden days, we used to do like this. This dot state dot username is equal to, I can say E dot target dot value, because the value is coming in the E dot target dot value. So in olden days, we used to update it like this way. React does not allow us to do like this way. React will say this is not the right way to do that.
Okay.
So how to update it? So there is a special way to update it, that is called this dot set state. This is the function which React gives us to update the state.
Okay.
And I will put it as a function, that is round bracket, and inside this function I will pass the object, that is a curly bracket, and inside the curly bracket I will say username colon, and I will put the new value of the username, that is this one.
Right.
And this way I will update the username. It is not necessary to put all age and gender. I can only update whatever I want to update. So here I want to update only username. I will put only username, and rest all will remain same.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So this is the wrong way. So I'm deleting this wrong way. So when user will type something, anything on change,
That'll
this
get
function
updated.
will be called, and this function will update the state, and the new username will be getting the value.
Right.
And when the state will be changed by this, render function will be again called, and all the variables will be updated.
Okay.
So let's check this one. So now I have many. Now if I type first letter, for example K, once I put K, it goes here and update the state, and you second line of the state user, because after it updates here, it will again call the render function, and we are able to see this console.log value again.
So with every character, the render function is being called.
With every character. If I say A, T, E, so it's again calling it again.
Right. Right.
Each change, you are seeing the updated value of the username.
Right.
So if I say carry, so you are able to see so many
For
updates
each
that
character.
final will appear here, and these two remain the same.
Yes. Yeah. We didn't change them under set state.
Right. So, and if you see, the main page is getting the new value, user page is getting the new value.
Yeah.
Let's say John, because all this is created again. The render function is called, and this is recreated again.
Right.
So this is all about the updating the state. Now let's update the age. So I will put it again, new line. I will say age is, I will create input box, type equal to text, value equal to this state dot age, on change equal to this dot change age. I will create this function change
Hmm.
age, but
That's
bind
fine.
this.
Hmm.
I'll put a curly bracket and I'll close the input box and I'll put the br tag in the end. Let's
Mm-hmm.
create function change age.
Hmm.
I'll pass e inside it, and here I'll say this dot set state, and inside state I will put the object,
Hmm.
and here I will say age equal to e dot target dot value. So I am
Okay.
updating the age now with this change. If I refresh the page, if I change it to 20, now see only age is updated, but rest others are same because we are
Hmm.
updating only the age.
Yeah. Yeah.
1415176, whatever it is.
But can you update both username and age? You can, right? Because you
Yeah,
have
you can, because if I call it update here, it will call his for its function.
an age
Here,
remains as is.
it,
Okay.
it will update its function. So both have different functions. Let's do it for the third one. I will copy this one
Hmm.
and I will paste it. And here I'll say gender, and here I'll say state dot gender, and here I'll say change gender, and I'll copy this. I will paste the gender, and here I'll say gender equal to e dot target dot value, and if I refresh now, I can change to female, then it will be gender is changed to female.
Mm-hmm.
Others two are same. If I change age, age is changed, others two are same. If I change
Hmm.
username, others two are same, only username is updated.
Right. Hmm.
So
But the
this,
last saved state of that age and gender is there still showing, right?
right, it is
Yeah.
right, the last one. So this is how we update the state. Now I will give you this in the chat. You can save it if you want.
So since you know that you had to change once you know that you had to change all three username, age, and gender, could you
Right.
just have made one function and used to that function only?
Yeah, that's what I will do now. I will
Okay.
create one function. So this is second exercise.
Okay.
So I give you in the chat, you can save it maybe, whatever it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
If you have
Sure.
written it's okay, or you can watch the video and type it again. So
Yeah.
now we have created three function. Now instead of three function, I want to call only one function in all the three places, and I want to update only that thing. I don't want to call three functions for three input box. So
Hmm.
let's create one function. For example, change state. For example, I'm saying, and and here I'm saying I will call this change state
Mm-hmm.
in all the three places. Okay, so I create a first function only, and then I'm calling change state from this uh, from that means I'm calling only the single function, not the three function for all the three things.
Yeah.
Now I want to do some extra stuff so that it knows what I'm changing.
Hmm.
So right now it will not know which one I'm changing. I'm changing the username or changing the age or changing the gender. So I will put the comma and I will pass the username. That means I'm changing the username as a second
Username.
parameter.
Hmm.
Here also I will pass age as a second parameter, and here I will pass uh, gender as a second parameter.
Hmm.
Now, if first I will see whether I'm getting this properly or not, whether I'm getting username or age or gender properly whenever someone is keyword. So here I'm passing username. So here I will put it as a keyword.
Hmm.
E will go in the end. Here I'm saying this here in the beginning, but when I pass it in function, E will go in the end.
Sorry, what changed? So like from change username to change state function?
I put change state function,
Hmm.
then I pass the username in the as a second parameter.
Right.
When I retrieve this username, I will retrieve this username in the keyword, this variable, this param.
Okay.
So this username hard-coded string will go here as a keyword.
Okay. And what is E
And
then?
E which we are getting here, it will come in the end.
Okay. The updated value.
Yeah. So if I want to see updated value, I can put it console.log. New value is e.target.value.
Right.
So let's see first if we are getting this two properly.
Right. Right.
So I have three variable. Let me change to, I put D. So you are seeing keyword is username and new value is coming D. If I change age to 2, right now it's not changing
Yeah, I don't see it changing.
because I did not updated the state. I need to update the state to make
Okay.
the changes. Right now you can only see in the console.log.
Okay.
Once I change the state, you will see this change here. Right now you
Okay.
cannot see here. So
Mm-hmm.
now you will see keyword is coming as age and new value is coming properly as 2 because I put 2. In the
Right.
gender, if I say F, keyword is coming gender and new value is coming is F.
Okay.
Okay, now we will update the state because since we are getting correctly these two values, now I
Yeah.
will update the state. I will say this dot set
That's it. Mm.
and in the curly bracket, I will say, so instead of username, I have to say, I want the username, right?
So
So,
keyword. No?
right, keyword will not work
Mm. Okay.
because if I type username, it is username. If I put keyword, it will be keyword, not the username.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what I will do, I will create one variable called as var, maybe temp variable,
Hmm.
an object, and then I will say temp. In the rectangular bracket, I will say keyword. When I create the rectangular bracket, then keyword will not go as a keyword. Keyword will go as the username or age or gender. If I put it in the rectangular bracket, then it will
Hmm.
not go as a keyword. It will go as a whatever we are passing it. If we are passing username, it will
Hmm.
go as a username. If I'm passing age, it will go as a age. If I'm passing the gender,
Gender.
it will go as a gender.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will say temp keyword equal to e dot target dot value, and here I will console dot log temp value is.
Hmm.
Now if I want to update the state, instead of putting this curly bracket, I will just say temp.
Okay.
So it will only update the keyword username or age or gender.
Hmm.
Okay, let's do that. I will explain again. This is
Yeah.
little to understand because it's a new thing.
Yeah.
Put John. When I put John, you will see username is the keyword is username, new value
Right.
is John, and temp value is coming as username John.
Right.
Okay, temp is some username, and this I'm passing in the state to
Hmm.
update the user.
Yeah.
If I put, if I change it to age, then you will see temp is getting the age of 23, which is passing to the state, and
Hmm.
it is updating the 23 only. If I change it to, if I change the gender, you will see these two are same, only gender is updated with the female because temp value is going it as gender female. Let's go it again through.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Initially, what I did, I created a change username. I was passing the event and I was updating only the username with the value which I was changing in the input box.
Mm-hmm.
In the last stage, what I did, I changed all the function name and I will put the common function that is the change state. And in the change state, I am passing some parameter as the keyword which I want to change. Let's say
Yeah.
if I want to change the username, I'm passing username. If I want to change age, I'm passing age. If I'm passing the gender, if I want to change the gender, I'm passing the gender. And this gender, age, username goes here as a keyword.
Right.
So if I put keyword is, so keyword will come as a username or gender or age.
Okay.
And
So this
value,
keyword is a placeholder for these three.
right,
Okay.
right, placeholder. Keyword is a placeholder. Let's put it. Keyword is a placeholder or username or age or gender.
Right.
Then what I did, I created a temp variable as an object, and I said temp variable in the curly bracket, in the rectangular bracket, I put a keyword.
Right.
If I generally, how we update the object, we use temp dot keyword.
Yes, we do that. Yeah.
If I do this, it will update only the keyword. It will not update the username or age or gender, because when I say temp dot keyword, it will not take the real keyword which is coming from here.
Oh, okay.
It will create a variable called as.
Hello. Sorry, I lost
Keyword
your
equal
voice.
to this one.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I think I lost your voice in between.
Okay. So it will take temp dot keyword equal to 43D. It will come like that. If I put temp dot keyword, so it will not take really the username. It will create a key called as keyword. I will show you what it comes. Let's say if I'm doing it console.log of temp. Let's do temp, and I'll return it for now.
Hmm.
If I do, so you will see the temp is saying keyword of 43S. It is not going as age because I said temp dot keyword. Temp dot keyword means it's
Okay.
not taking the real placeholder. It's creating the string keyword.
But in normal JavaScript, you can update the object like this. Just in React, we can't do it, is it?
In the normal JavaScript also, you can update only the keyword. If something you want a variable, you need to use this rectangular bracket.
Got it. Okay.
Otherwise, it will update the keyword, not the username, not the age.
Not the value of that keyword. Okay.
Right. Not the value of
Got
the.
it. Got it. Okay.
If we want to update the value, we need to use the rectangular bracket.
Okay.
So now this will work fine, and I don't. Okay, let it be this one. So if I want to change 23, it's coming as 23 here.
Hmm.
So I will give you this also in the chat if you.
Yes. These are actually helpful.
Yeah. Now we did the update of the app, the state from this app component only. But what if I want to update the state from the main component? So that is the
Oh,
next
yeah.
challenge task. So if we
Right.
want to update from the main, how will we do that?
Hmm.
So to do that, I will let's copy this. Let's copy this part to the main one. In the main one, I will put it in the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm putting in the main one, state is not in the main one, so we have to use props.
Hmm.
But it comes as a prop.
Right.
Now, function inside the main one. Let's say I'm saying change. Since I have created change state here, I don't want to mess up with both the names. You will confuse which I am calling.
Hmm.
So I say main change state. Something to
Okay.
know it is in the main.
Mm-hmm.
We'll create a function here, and it will take same thing as a keyword
Keyword and E. Hmm.
and e. And instead of change state, I will call this main change state.
Hmm.
And now the keyword will be username, age or gender, and e.target.value will be whatever I am getting this target value.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the console.log to see what is coming. Okay, so let's see what is coming in the keyword and target. Okay, now let's go to the page. So this is in the app page and this is in the main page. Let's try to do in the main page and I'll say S. Once I say S, it's saying keyword equal to username and new
Right.
value equal to many's. So we are getting correct keyword and correct value. Let's
Value.
type the age. I'm getting age of new value of 433. I put 433. So I'm getting 433 as new value. I'm getting keyword age correctly. So I'm getting this correctly. I'm getting this correctly. Now, but we need to update the state, and state is
Yeah.
not present here. It is only props here. We don't have the state here, but we have to update the state in the app component.
Okay.
So let's create another function which I will call from here.
So you cannot do set state in main component now.
In state,
The set state, the this dot set state for updating.
I cannot say set state here because state is not here.
Yeah. Okay.
It is not present.
It's only in app. Yeah.
Right. So what I will do, I can modify this function also little bit because we need some modification because we are passing from the component, but since I'm using it here also, so I will not change this function, but I will copy this function and create a new function with some modification. So I can say change state modified. Here I don't need E because I'm not getting E from the I'm not getting really the E in this function. So I will delete this part. I don't need it. Though I can put it, but I will not get the E. I can say, maybe I can say value. The value will come. So here I will change keyword and the value. And then this temp variable will be created with temp keyword, but E will not be there. So I will just say this value which is coming from there as a parameter. And then I will say change this dot set temp. So I will get the keyword, that means the username and what value I want to update for username. Second time I may get age as a keyword and what is the value of the age, maybe 24, 25, whatever I want to put. Third time I will get gender as a keyword and value will be whatever gender I will put, male, female or something. So I need to access this function from this main component.
Okay.
So let's say I can say this change state modified. So I want to call this function here. I can say this dot props because everything come here as a prop.
Yeah. Right.
Dot change state modified, and I will put the key and value. Key will so when I call this main change state from here, it will call main state here, and then it will call this dot props dot change state modified, which is nothing but this change state modified.
And this change state modified, okay, is defined under app. Okay.
We did not pass from the main component. Here we did not pass it. So we need to pass that. Here we are only passing the variable names. We need to also pass this function because this function exists here.
Right.
We cannot call props unless we pass it.
Right.
It's not available.
Yeah.
So what I have to do, I have to pass this function inside the main component here.
Right.
So I will say change state modified is equal to, I will say this dot, I will pass this
change
function.
State modified.
Change state modified. I am keeping the name same. Dot bind.
Okay.
Dot bind this, only this much.
Okay.